from Norway, Timothy Owen here, all the way to Las Vegas, Nevada, USA. Hello, Pascale.
Hello, Tim. How are you?
I am thrilled. I'm absolutely thrilled, late into the night here in our time zone, to have this opportunity for you to be sharing your story with all of us. So, Pascale, where does your story begin?
First of all, thanks so much, Tim, for inviting me. I truly feel honored to be here and to be talking to you. And so, okay, so my story starts a few years ago when I was a legal translator. I was very unhappy with my work, what I was doing, the people surrounding me, my husband, the life I was having at home. We had a good relationship in certain aspects of our marriage, but in other aspects of our marriage, it didn't work out at all. So we ended up, going our separate ways. And eventually I was continuing to be very unhappy at work. And one day I've always been very interested in personal development. So I was reading a lot of books about that. I was reading at that time, that was maybe 10 months ago, Tony Robbins. Okay. And Tony Robbins would explain, write things down, write your questions. So last October 25th, I decided to draw a line in the sand, and I said, I've had enough of this job and I really need to make a decision. Do I stay there or do I leave, and what's going to happen? And, I'm no longer going to make a salary if I leave, so all these uncertainties. So I started writing a letter because I said, I really have to quit this job. I can't, it's just killing me. It's making me so unhappy. It's making me so depressed. So I wrote a letter to my boss. I said, I regret having to tell you I'm gonna resign, blah, blah, blah. Then I was thinking of what Tony Robbins says, so I read the letter back and I was like, is that what you want to happen? You want to quit your job? And I was like, maybe they should abolish my position. That's what I really want. I want them to abolish my position and give me a package so I can have that security of having a package, and then maybe I'll have time to figure things out and just, do something else. I had just opened up my own travel agency. So I said, maybe I'll just, do that and really be successful doing that. So anyway, so I changed the letter. I had dated it October 28th. So this was October 25th. So I wrote, "Dear Mrs. Noury, we regret to inform you that, your position has been abolished." So I go and I meet my friend for lunch that day, and I tell her what I did. And it's I get so excited. I'm like, oh my God, what if this really happens? I was I was just over the top. I was so excited, at the prospect of finally I'm going to be free and just do something else and take this opportunity to do something else. Anyway, so Friday comes, so October 28th, and in the morning, I wake up again and saying to myself, oh no, I just don't want to go to work. I just don't want to do this. I just can't. And I say, well, I remind myself of that letter I just wrote, and I'm like, yeah, you really have to go into work today because, they're going to abolish your position and you're going to be free. So I go into work. Then around noon, my friend calls me. She said, you want to go for a walk? And usually we had our lunch at 1. So it was around 12. So I say, well, let me just ask my boss if I'm just gonna tell him I'm just gonna have an early lunch and I'll meet you downstairs. So I go to his office and they say, I'm just gonna go for lunch right now instead of 1, you know, is that okay with you? So he looks at me, he's like, can you wait like a couple of minutes? I'm like, why? Is something's happening? Are we meeting human resources? And he's like looking at me like shocked. Like how does she know? So like he doesn't know what to say, so he ends up saying, well, yeah, like I'm gonna come and get you in your office in a couple of minutes, you know, can you wait for me? I'm like, sure. So call back my friend and I say, we're meeting human resources, and she's like, what? And I'm like, yeah, I gotta go. I'll call you after. So I hang up. He comes to pick me up he comes to get me at my office, and we go see human resources, and they offer me a package, and they're laying me off, you know? I was like, oh my God, like, I can't believe this is happening. So that day I just left the office. They offered me something, and then we in the next few days we negotiated something else, and yeah, I ended up getting most of what I wanted. So I was like free to do like whatever, and I had that security, you know, of getting paid and trying to figure out whatever I needed to figure out. So I started, you know, having the website of my agency built. So I started working on that, you know, creative thing with somebody. And then, you know, I was selling a few trips here and there, but the commissions were like so low, like, and sometimes, you know, you would spend like 10 hours of your time like building this nice trip for the person who tells you, well, I just found that on Expedia for like half the price, or I found another hotel. Well, you know, why did you ask me in the first place to do the research when you already knew what you wanted, or you went to ask somebody else? Anyway, it was very frustrating. So, and the commission was often like, you would spend like, I don't know, 9-10 hours on researching and making just a couple of $100. So I was like, maybe this is just not for me. Maybe I didn't have like prior experience, like enough experience to do this to begin with. But the idea of just opening a company was, again, because I was reading Tony Robbins last year. Like, so my position was abolished in October, but I was already reading it in like the year prior, and I opened my company in May 2016. The agency was open in September of last year. So, but just prior to that decision, it was because I just needed to do something to get on the train for things to move, because nothing was happening. And Tony Robbins would speak all the time about taking massive action. And so I didn't know, like, you know, what's your passion? Well, I don't know what my passion is. You know, okay, I like to travel. I love to travel. I love to do these things, but is it my passion? Is it really what I want to do? But at one point, you really have to make that decision to just do something. It just starts, like, we often hear about planting the seeds, right, Tim? So that was just the seed I needed to plant. And I really loved the creative process of, you know, having things done. You know, I felt that I was in charge. I felt I was in control of what was happening in my life relating to that agency, or opening the company, doing these things. And even though the travel agency business didn't have the success I had anticipated, I realized I really had that entrepreneurial like fiber, like the creation process. I really like that. So afterwards, like seeing that like I just said, like you know, the commissions were so low, and I was like, I think, you know, I deserve better than this, and you know, I want to do more than this. And so then I start searching some, you know, some other things, where just start to search what else I could do. And that's how I started looking into network marketing, because I was hearing these people talk about network marketing. Like I had just read like that book from T. Harv Eker, The Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. So he was talking about network marketing. I was following this other guy named James Godin. So I also have to thank James here for planting those little seeds in the beginning as well. That's like one of the like the beginning of my true journey. And he was talking about that. So I started researching network marketing companies, and I just found that company named Jeunesse Global, and they had these super products, and I was like, wow, this seems so cool. And I was looking at the compensation plan, and I was like, wow, that's amazing. You can like make millions, and you can, you know, help people make millions, and you can, you know, there's no limit to what you can do. Like you have a team behind you. They're all here to like push you and help you. And so I said, you know, the products seem really great, and the people in the company seem really great. So I said, you know, I think this is really like for me. So I started researching like these like teams, and I ended up like being on this like super, well, what I thought was going to be a super duper team. And in a way, maybe they were, I don't know, but it just didn't work for me, and I struggled so much. And at one point I was like, do they really have a duplicatable system? I was asking myself, like one time, like my upline, the lady, she calls me, she said, oh, I have a lead for you, you know. She'd like, I was like, oh my God, she has a lead. And then like I felt the pressure, you know, I better close that lead, you know. And so I talked to that lady, and I didn't close the lead, whatever. It was like 1 lead in 2 months. I was like, what? 1 lead in 2 months? And at one point, like I was starting to get really, well, desperate in the way, like, this is not happening, you know? Like I envisioned the best things. I thought I was gonna do this and this other thing, but it was just not happening. So at one point, I just decided to just surrender and just ask for help. And I wasn't one of those people who would ask for help. And but that day I was like, you know, I'm just gonna surrender and just ask for help, and just, I don't know, let's just see what happens. So I think that the next day, or even the same night, I see a post from one of a guy I knew, Olivier Carter, who I had met briefly, and we had a few conversations, and I was like following him, and I thought his posts were really inspiring. He seemed to be a guy with a lot of integrity. And a few months prior, he had sent me a video about the team he was with, and that team was called Black Ops Underground. And there was this guy talking about, you know, a new campaign. It was called The House of Cards. So I was looking at this guy with this big watch and this, you know, this cap, and I thought, this guy looks like, you know, like a guy in the mafia or something. Like, I'm sure this is a scam. You know. So I was just like, yeah, forget about it, Olivier. Like, you know, I'm really not interested in those type of scams. Like it just shows how much you can change in just a few weeks or months or days sometimes. So it makes me laugh because then it was around June, like my birthday's on June 14th, so around June 11, I don't know, like the day I said, you know, I'm just gonna surrender and ask for help. And I see Olivier, who just made $1,000, you know, online. And he said how great it was to wake up to $1,000 commission. Like, yeah, I was like, that would be great, you know, because I haven't been able to make any money. I don't have any leads. I don't have any, like, I don't have a duplicatable system. I have nothing, you know. I need to make maybe another decision. So anyway, I decide to write to Olivier and I say, you remember the video he sent me? And I was referring to the House of Cards campaign video. And with Darren Little, like, speaking in that video. And like, if Darren sees this interview, he's gonna laugh. So I asked Olivier, you know, you still have that video? So he said, well, I have another one, you know, I will send it over to you. So he sends me the video, and then I start watching the video, and I don't know, like what I had, you know, seen the first time and what I was seeing now, like, were like opposites. Now I didn't see what Darren was saying as a scam. I didn't see him as the mafia boy. I was just seeing like this person talking to me about my pain, you know. He was talking to me about me not generating any leads, me not having a I have trouble with that word, duplicatable system. You know, he was talking about making a list of your friends and family, and you know, harassing your friends and family with the products or whatnot, you know. And he said at one point, you will see your Facebook page go like blank. You will post things and you will not get, you know, nobody will comment on your things. Nobody will like what you say. Like, nobody's gonna, like, it's like gonna be like, on your page gonna be like ghost town, you know. So like, you're gonna send like messages to people and they're not gonna even like respond. So I was like, oh my God, this is what's happening in my life, you know, like ghost town, and nobody's answering me, like. And so I went back to Olivier. I said, okay, well, can we talk like tomorrow or tonight? I don't know. Can we talk like about this? So I called him and he explained a little more what was, you know, Black Ops all about. And so I decided to join, and just because I didn't know much about, you know, what Black Ops did. I just knew what I saw in the video. I just knew that Darren was talking about what I was experiencing. I just knew that Olivier was so happy with the mentoring inside the group, what Darren was teaching. Olivier was telling me that they had like super Saturdays, but I didn't know anything else about it, you know. I just had to make a decision on what I believed, if like that decision felt right. And like, it felt right for me. So I just said, I have to, like, it's a choice. It's A or B. You do it, you don't do it. And if you do it, well, you have to go all in. So I went all in, and Olivier was telling me, oh, Darren, he has this program called Top Recruiters Academy. And he was like, I really want to do that. People that do that, they come out of that program, they're like, they end up doing amazing things. And so as soon as I got in the group, Darren was explaining a few strategies on getting leads, like an unlimited amount of leads, an unlimited number of leads. So I just started implementing right away what he was saying. And in the next 48 hours, people were commenting on my stuff. People were liking my things. I started talking to people, like, building the relationship with the people. I started implementing the formula he teaches, in our group. And I was like, oh my God, like, just looking at my page, like, everything changed. And that's when I said, I really trust, like, that this works. In 48 hours, you see, like, a whole difference from going to 0 likes to 48 likes to 90 likes to, 20 people commenting on a post. I mean, it's working, So from there, in the group, he was also promoting the Top Recruiters Academy. And the way he would talk about it, he would just, like, I would hear these words, like quantum physics, like, success, like I would hear some of the things that I could relate to. So I was like, I really was interested, like, quantum physics really piqued my curiosity for a long time. So, and I was really looking for someone who knew about it. And I never had found anybody who knew about that, except maybe even a couple, like, I would find articles, but, it wouldn't go really in depth. And so I said, I really need to know what he means when he talks about that. I really want to know what's going on. So that's, like, how I joined Top Recruiters Academy, and I loved it so much that I decided to do it again. So I went. So it's an 8 sessions that you do, and you were a group together, and we have, like, breakthroughs, and we just grow, and that's pretty much where to the point I am now. Woo!
Yeah, woo! Take a breath, because that is an amazing journey that you shared with us. And where you are now, can you highlight on that briefly? Like, you've had you've been producing some miracles and breakthroughs in terms of $1,000 days. Can you share some of that with us?
Yeah. So I continued applying what Darren teaches inside our group in our millionaire mentoring, and reaching out to people, building relationships, and just following the simple strategies he teaches. And I got qualified pretty quickly when I got in the group, because I don't know, I had, like, maybe something to prove, or I just wanted to make, like, a little bit of money, I was like, I can, like, as soon as I saw, like, just my page growing so fast, and even people reaching out to me, and I said, I'm gonna do this, so I was spending, like, 15, 16 hours a day, just, like, boom, 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 like, interacting with people, meeting new people, and I really loved it, And pretty soon, I got I got qualified, and I brought somebody else in the group. So I generated like $2,000 in 2 days, well, in 24 hours. So I was really excited about that. Then there was maybe a slow moment. I don't know. You need sometimes to process these things, and there's a curve also of a learning curve. So recently, I got, I generated another $3,000 in like 48 hours. So I was really happy about that. And this money, you know, it's like they're instant commission. So as soon as the person pays, you get paid immediately. So it's, you know, instantaneous. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's affected not just you, but your son. You had shared with me previously. Can you highlight any of that briefly? Like how this is rippling out in the transformation that it's been in you to be affecting your family, and even what might be possible next after all that you've created.
Yeah. Well, again, like what Darren teaches in the Top Recruiters Academy, even in the group, you really have to speak your reality into existence, you know? So you really have to think, feel, act as if you're living the life you want to live. Not the crappy life you had, if you had a crappy life. And I would guess that most people that are in our group had crappy lives. And they want to turn it around, and it's possible. And as soon as you can master these skills, the sooner you will start manifesting whatever you want in your life. Maybe not right away, because sometimes it just takes a little bit of time, and you just need to process these things and just grow into it. And like with my son, like I keep telling him that, you know, the money is never ever going to be an issue, and it's always going to be there, and you know, we don't have to worry about that. And I keep telling him that we're going to be, you know, we're going to be wealthy, and we're going to be happy. And so he's like, wow, he's like amazed, and he's looking at me, he's watching me. He's like, at one point he was like, Mom, how much money did you make today? I was like, and every day he would go, how much money did you make today? He was annoying me so much. I said, you know, really have to stop talking about it. But then I said, you know, I made $1,000 today. And then the next day, I made another $1,000 today. And then the next day, I made another $1,000 today. And I invested some money also in Bitcoins, and I'm getting a pretty good, I don't know if I can call them returns, or I don't know, like whatever you want to call that. But if all goes well, you know, I'll be making a pretty significant amount of money just having invested in that type of platform in you know, cryptocurrency. So I'm like reaching the goal I had for this year. If all goes well, I'll be pretty close to reaching that goal at the end of December, or even beyond. My goal for the year was to make $300,000 to $400,000. So I'm heading in that direction.
Fantastic. Wow. Congratulations. And also congratulations that you've, right, this magic word in the industry, you've duplicated, right? This is not just happening for you, but it's already happening for those who have chosen to get started working with you, hasn't it?
Yeah, and even those who haven't maybe made those $1,000 commissions, they will get there, you know, they will get there. It is a process. It is there is a learning curve, and I have like no doubt if they follow the strategies, the formula, and if they're coachable, if they listen, if they implement what they're being taught, they will get there. It's like, it's impossible not to achieve success when you apply and you work on yourself. It's almost impossible not to be successful in that team. Like, to me, it's almost not possible.
Yeah, that's clear. And you're living it and you're proving it, and you've got others now that have stepped in the same direction. Anything else you want to add to inspire anyone who's listening to this and is kind of curious like you were not so long ago? Is there anything you would say to that person to get them to get in touch with whoever shared this story, this video with them? What would you say to that person?
I would say, like, even if I hadn't made like 1 single cent, like, I mean, I got so much value, and I'm getting so much value from being on that team with Black Ops. We're like almost close to 1,500 people now in that team. And the people in that team all have similar struggles, in the sense that they've had like some hardships, and they broke through their hardships. You know, they were determined enough to make it to, they were determined enough to try something new. And if you go into it with an open mind, and, you know, you're going to meet the most amazing people, like you, Tim, and like Darren, and like Olivier, and like Bill Green, and like Wayne Lambert, and like Leslie Abbott, and his wife Melody, and Balkis, who I met through this as well. Who did I meet? Charlene Savage, Emily Ching. How many people? Ari Maccabee, like Nate Harris, Barbara Fenwick, Barbara Bourne. I mean, Samaya, Sharon. There are so many people. They're so amazing. They are so amazing. They all have their stories to share. Some of them don't even know it yet. Some of them are really, really struggling right now. But it's because they're building the foundation to their success. You know? Like, who wants to hear about somebody who said, well, I went to school, it was great. I went to university, it was great. And then I got a job, it was great. I retired, it was great. And, you know, and then you die. Who wants to hear about those stories? You know, people love to hear about, you know, how you made it through.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the path. It's the path to the success that people can relate to.
Yeah, and I love how you've emphasized that we do it together, right? It is an individual work, and at the same time, as a collective, as a larger group, as a larger whole, we have an opportunity to overcome things together in a way that may not even be possible, right? On our own. Yeah.
It's, well, first of all, you have to want it for yourself. You have to make that decision, which is, what do you want? You know, you have to make it clear to yourself what you want, what your intention is. You have to work on yourself, and then when you're there, you can leverage the success of your colleagues or your teammates, and just leverage that the success in the team. You can leverage that and just showcase For example, even me, I showcased on my page, you know, like the success Wayne had. And you know, everybody can do that, and we're shown to do that in our team. It's like, I mean, the system is so, you know, it's pretty much easy to reproduce once you get it. It's still there is still a learning curve, and it's still a process, especially like, I don't know, I came from the legal, I was a legal translator, you know. I could, you know, deal with lawyers and, you know, send documents over the internet, and I was working long hours, but I didn't know anything about marketing myself, or like marketing anything, or even building relationships. I was like completely lost at the building relationship part of I don't know, of the business, because I would work in my office for sometimes, you know, 8 to 12, 14 hours by myself. It was so depressing. It was so depressing. I think the missing link is the more you connect with people, the more energy or energized you will feel. It's great to be able to to maybe reconnect with yourself, being alone, ground yourself, you know, nourish yourself with, you know, good books, or, but it's when you get to share those things with other people that make life great. Yeah. And that's what I love about online marketing, is like all the people I talk to all over the world. And it's when people tell me about their struggles or what's happening in their lives that really touch me, especially when I'm able to help somebody and I'm able to guide them either spiritually or emotionally or in the business world, you know, whatever it is. Like that makes me like so, you know, happy. Yeah. In Top Recruiters Academy, we all helped each other. Like one person helped me break through something, and I helped this other person break through something else. And it's just one person is going to help you, and another will you're going to help, and the chain continues like that, you know, and it's infinite.
Yeah, and that's what I believe is happening right here, right now, in your willingness, your courage, your willingness to be vulnerable, to share the process, right, this road you've traveled, which hasn't been easy the whole way, and has left you, well, what has it left you, right? It's left you with an awareness that you didn't do it alone, and even where you're going next, you realize, right, that you won't be doing that alone either.
Yeah, and now I feel like I have the support of so many people, as with in my other like life, I did not feel that support. I was looking for that support, and of course, at one point, you just really just do it and not care. But I mean, honestly, it feels great to have support from people you respect and admire. You know, it feels great.
Beautiful. Well, this that you've shared, I'm sure, will begin to be that support to many who will have an opportunity to plug in and listen to what you've shared today, Pascale. And as we said before, please do contact whoever it is that has shared this story with you, because you no longer need to be working alone. And those pain points that Pascale has just mentioned, there's a community of us that are ready, willing, and able to support you, to encourage you, to assist you in every way possible. Pascale, is there any last words you would share with that person who's wondering, like, what is this? And can this really make that difference? And are these the people? Is this the community I should plug into?
Yeah, I do have something to say. Like, you need to just get out of your mind and just be in your heart and just follow. Like my father used to tell me, follow your mind. Never follow your heart. And that's the biggest mistake anyone can ever make. I mean, you really need to follow what's inside of you. When it feels right, it means that it might be right, you know? It feels wrong. Well, choose another path. You know, you have to get away from what feels wrong and just go with what feels really right to you. And sometimes we're scared of making those decisions because we're in bad situations, and we get maybe so depressed and so anxious that we don't know how to think and how to remove ourselves from there. But it's from those little steps that you're gonna take. It's like the drop of water, like that accumulates and that fills the glass. Well, it's the same thing. Those little actions that you're gonna make, like even if it's like gonna be like a book you're gonna read that it's gonna make you feel good, or just a movie that you're gonna watch. You just go walk, have a walk, take a walk, go into the nature. You know, these things don't cost anything, and they help you ground yourself and just make better decisions. Because you can't make a good decision when you're not feeling well, you know? So you really got to get into that, okay, I feel good. So what do I need to do now? And whatever a question you're gonna ask, the questions, the answers will come.
Pascale, thank you so much for sharing this. And as we said before, contact whoever shared this with you, because they will identify the next steps to take for you to be able to leverage this team and to implement these systems in a way that can take whatever you're doing to the next level.